I think we need more gun control and better mental health care for students.
We'll probably need like heavier gun control, along with probably background checks for the people purchasing the guns, just so we know that their mental health state is well enough not to shoot school.
I think we should make laws that make it a little more difficult for, I guess, people to purchase these guns. Kind of like how it's difficult to get a driver's license. We all have taken that test. I know how difficult it is. But yet, from what I've seen since I've been here, it seems damn easy to purchase a gun. I've seen a lot of gun shops pop up, and it's almost as simplistic as breathing for some people. And it's like, well, if I have to basically bend over backwards and go through all this hardship to get a driver's license and wait till I'm 21 to smoke or drink or anything like that, then why is it so easy compared to other things that we need to purchase a gun, which most of us don't even need?
Now that we know how many people have been impacted by school shootings, let's investigate deeper into school shootings and gun control. Because we are at an all-time high for school shootings, there are many rules that need to be implemented to prevent these numbers from growing. As another school is struck by a tragic event of violence, our government still neglects the cry for stricter gun control laws. This Florida high school was the 16th school shooting of 2018. This school shooting ended in 7 deaths among students and faculty.
He was taken into custody, I believe, about an hour after he left Stoneman Douglas. He was a former student of Douglas High School. He got expelled for disciplinary reasons. I don't know the specifics. I think he might have surfaced at Taravella High School. We're still trying to confirm that. And this morning when he woke up, whether he was a student or not, I don't know. He had countless magazines, multiple magazines, and at this point, we believe he had one AR-15 rifle. I don't know if he had a second weapon.
Turn on your television.
The purpose of this documentary is to educate the audience about the need for change with our gun laws in America. The young man who had brought the gun into the school was no longer a student. He somehow had access to an AR-15 rifle. We believe anyone who isn't under military credentials should not have such easy access to such dangerous weapons. As this epidemic becomes more frequent, we need to think of more precautions to take. One of these precautions might involve the school counselors. When these people first became counselors, they probably never imagined dealing with such tragic events so frequently. As stakeholders in this topic, school counselors should come forward and give their opinions. But more importantly, as America, we should listen to them. These are the people who know firsthand about mental health troubles students face. Students have begun to take matters into their own hands. They set up rallies, marches, protests, and moments of silence. After the Parkland shooting, students set up March for Our Lives. In the following video, student survivors from the Parkland, Florida shooting share their feelings and thoughts on gun control and how they plan to make a change in society.
They're taking their movement nationwide with a march on Washington next month.
How does a march bring change?
Think of all the things that have happened since the first Women's March. We've had the Me Too movement, and along with those women, it's our turn, and it's the grieving students' turn to put an end to this and be heard.
We're going to make ourselves so loud, so brazen, that they won't be able to ignore us in the White House. This is all about gaining a platform so that we can discuss with them, creating common sense gun laws and stricter gun legislation.
We want assault rifles off the market.
Automatic, semi-automatic have no place in civilian society.
Is it a slippery slope? Do we start with AR-15s and then more gun rights are taken away from people?
No, that's the thing.
We have a right to live. At this point, what does it mean to have rights to have guns?
What we're on right now is a slippery slope that we're getting to the bottom of. This needs to be where we stop and we start to stand up.
Not only are students tragically affected by school shootings and a lack of gun control, but their parents are also major stakeholders in this situation. Since some of the first school shootings in America, parents all over the country have formed connections via the internet, blog posts, email or text messaging, and even in person. This begins with parents wanting to reach out to others who are going through the same unimaginable situation as they are, and they begin to connect through grief as more and more parents join after each school shooting occurs. These parents have done everything in their power to make a change, such as organizing websites and speaking out at schools. 57 total school shootings, 21 that caused at least one death, and 19 that caused at least one student death, 189 total victims, 112 wounded, 63 students killed, 14 adults killed, 41 high schools, 6 middle schools, 9 elementary schools, and 1 K-12 school. These are the shocking and terrifying statistics of school shootings in the U.S., just adding to the fact that we need more gun control.
A student from my high school actually was found with a gun and ammunition and like a list of a plan that he had to come to the school and kill like a certain amount of kids, and he actually had names of who he was gonna shoot, so I figured that like this lockdown was serious. I had seen him around school, and I think in middle school and stuff I had classes with him, but he was like the star of the school play. He was kind of shy, but he wasn't the type that I would ever feel like I had to be worried about. None of us would have ever expected that to come from the star of our school play. All of us were sitting in school and we started changing classes, and as soon as I got to my next class, the people came over the intercom and said that the school was on lockdown and that it wasn't a drill. And overall I was just like basically terrified. At that point, like school protocol really didn't matter because everybody was freaking out and thought that this was real, so everybody was just kind of in survival mode. And there were students in there who had behavioral issues and had dealt with that kind of stuff before, which is really weird to see. Like students that had gotten shot before and all kinds of things like that. So it was interesting to see the way that they kind of stood up in that moment. I don't know, it was a lot different for the way they reacted than the rest of us. All of us were kind of silent except for them. Since that happened, we had to wear ID name tags around the hallways just so that people knew that we were a student. And I did EBCE at the time, so I came in half day. I came into the school at 11, and every time I would have to come into the school, they would use like a metal detector. The football coach would actually stand at the doors and use a metal detector and wave us all down in our backpacks and our bags. Since then, since I've graduated, they've actually put like real metal detectors that you have to walk through like in an airport in the school. So now everybody that goes into the building is metal detected.
After the Parkland, Florida shooting, the Parkland community was quick to jump to action, demanding changes in gun control. This is something that should be implemented throughout the country. According to the Journal of Multidisciplinary Research, they not only work to improve gun control laws, but also the continuation of mental health care throughout the country. Parkland residents created change and made it more challenging to purchase guns in the state of Florida. Gun laws are too relaxed throughout the country, only requiring a simple background check before granting access to powerful guns. Moving forward, it should be shown throughout the country with stricter gun laws on AR-15 guns and the availability of hazardous weapons like this. Ultimately, the United States needs more strict gun laws and to continue mental health care so that less accidents like this happen.